Yo.
Yo. Welcome to the casting desk, guys, here at Beyond the Summit. It's the Alienware Cup, brought to you by MasterCard, Alienware, as well as DPM Interactive, your organizer and host for the event. Bruno,
Yes.
delighted to have you with me.
Delighted to have you with me as well.
Okay.
That's
No,
actually-
you're with me.
No, you're with me.
Bullshit.
Come on.
Well.
Anyways, Navi versus Tongfu, East versus West, blah blah, story of always, let's make hype and everything. But the interesting thing right here, Navi is in China. They didn't have the best of group stages.
That's also very true.
They only won one game out of the 10.
I think that's a bit of an understatement. They went 1-7.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 1-7. That's
Through the
right.
groups.
Through the groups. But they were very convincing yesterday playing against Rattlesnake. Now people will say, Rattlesnake, I want to see that hexagon because clearly that's not the stronger team of the competition.
I don't know if you want to see the new Rattlesnake hexagon. It's a bit depressing.
It's a bit sad.
Even if the labels are messed up, it's a lot of low numbers.
Yes. Now they're playing against Tongfu, a team that gained their invite to the TI3 after LGD China had a roster change and had to go to the qualifiers.
Right.
People were doubting them, but I think that after watching them in a few competitions, they look really strong. I think they're in the finals of the DSL.
Tongfu, yeah. Tongfu has really been on the rise as of late. And they have some underrated talent on this team. Banana, new support
Banana
player.
is one of the best supports
In
as well.
China, really.
In China,
I mean,
yeah.
he's
China. And again, like we discussed this yesterday. You have Banana, you have X Freedom, which is kind of like a personal favorite of mine. You have Net. Who does the West have? Like you have Puppy, which is a good captain. Is good support.
I think Kuroki is a great example of like a top tier Western support that can make huge
but
plays.
he's not a support.
All right,
Kuroki's a carry that's playing support.
He's your 3.5 position support. He does farm a lot more than most.
Yeah.
But that's just how they choose to play it. Puppy gives Kuroki much more farm priority than other teams get, but he still makes a big impact.
Yeah, I mean, Puppy is very intelligent. Come on. Puppy is very intelligent, and he knows the game. He understands. He calls the shots for the team very well.
Right.
Individually, I like Banana more.
It does seem as of late like the Eastern supports have been making a few more plays. I think EGM is very underrated as well. For the
EGM has
Alliance.
been growing a lot.
Yeah, and I think the West has a lot of really strong jungle supports. I think that's Ake,
Puppy
Misery
itself.
if you want to say LGDN, Puppy, of course. That's really, I think, where the West's big strength is as far as support play at large goes. But for those 5-position supports, I mean, for me, I think Net is just absolute standout.
Dominating.
But with that being said, we are ranky players, and we should be casting a game. Navi versus Tongfu, game number 1. Let's get into it. The draft now underway. I actually believe I have to lower my audio threshold, even though Dota TV probably not going to work anyway since it's the perfect world servers.
It's going to be fine. But we have lots of...
Don't say that, because then you're making promises.
Come on.
Perfect world servers. They're tough.
No.
But for the draft, I actually would have looked at this draft and said, oh, we have our teams mixed up.
Yeah.
Did they do a role swap?
It does look like a role swap. I mean, the Lifestealer Nax Bomb with the Storm Spirit is something that Navi has been doing quite a lot recently. And not so recently as well.
You know, when they first added Funnick and Kuroki to the roster, I think they ran Storm Lifestealer like 7 or 8 games in their first 10.
Row, yeah.
And they won like every single one.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's something that they did. Dandy Storm Spirit is really fun to watch. I think Dandy thrives when you get a hero that has high mobility, high possibility of impact. Like, give him a Magnus and he'll be a good Magnus, but it's boring. Give him a Dragon Knight and he'll be okay.
Give him a puck and he can be a great puck.
Exactly. Give him a puck, give him a Storm Spirit. Any hero that's super mobile, that can create an impact is going to be good.
I think that's just Navi style in general. They want heroes that can fight often and early. They are a team that wants to fight. And Tongfu have picked a fighter lineup of their own. So we are going to see some early action in combat. Maybe not at the 1-minute mark, but definitely by the 10-minute mark. There are going to be a lot of bodies dropping in this game. And I don't think we actually made predictions ourselves for this series, Bruno, which we should do, so we have ourselves on record. And someone could be embarrassed later, perhaps.
I have Navi 2-1.
Navi 2-1. I have Tongfu 2-1.
2-1. Okay, let's see. Well,
I think based on the way Navi played yesterday, they look like they're a bit more stable and solid, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if Tongfu 2-0 them because they aren't the biggest Chinese name, at least to the Western fans, but they are in great form right now. As you mentioned, Dota 2 Super League Grand Finals, and they've taken down some stiff competition to get there.
I think it's a test of fire for Navi. Navi, this game, they will be saying, okay, can we actually go and make a statement? Can we win the International 3, yes or no? If they win this game, they can. If they can't win this game, well, they have 1 month to prepare, because if they can't win against Tongfu, they can't win it all.
Bold statement, Bruno.
I'm just saying.
We'll see if they live up to that. Even if they do lose this match, though, they're not out of the tournament. And for Navi, oftentimes it has been a team that has to win the hard way. They make life difficult for themselves. Maybe we'll see them. Maybe we'll see that happen here. Tongfu will go. I almost want to say full Rattlesnake.
Yeah.
They go for the Doombrainer here. Rattlesnake known for running kind of greedy four core lineups in some ways, and now we see Lifestealer, Storm Spirit, Clockwork, Doom. This team needs level 6 more badly
than anything
we'll ever see.
But we're probably going to be. I mean, it's really fun because you'll see Clockwork in the offlane does very well, especially against Alchemist Bane and something else, which is pretty weak in terms of.
If they get like a Lina here,
I would like to see a Keeper of the Light, but. I hate to.
He's very weak to Lifestealer bombs, though. That's most supports are, but
most supports are.
Keeper of the Light in particular.
Actually, I want a purple hero because I did this joke yesterday, but today is more true than ever. Like you see the backgrounds, Alchemist is kind of yellow, but he has a purple background, and the rest guys are all very purple. I hate to repeat my jokes, but when I see them, I have to call them. So here's one more support for Navi. Probably Kuroki's hero. Rubik has been banned, so he will not have his hero of choice. Shadow Demon is picked, so that's his second hero of choice. Anything that you do that you want to have has to be tanky. Jakiro would be nice.
He plays
also
a pretty good Jakiro.
Yeah, it's also banned.
It also pairs really well with Darkseer.
Yes. We're going to see, maybe we see kind of some surprise support that we're not used to see. Maybe something, I mean, seeing that Tongfu is going greedy, you might as well pick a Gyrocopter support, maybe. Or something like a Naga Siren support.
My problem is if you go greedy against Tongfu's lineup, Navi just don't have a great defense.
Wow, speaking of greedy.
Well, a bit greedy here. So now they run. What are these lanes going to be? That's the big question.
Wait. Did the new patch add a new lane? So we have 4 lanes now?
Did we miss a memo?
Something like that.
Is this another one of your half-baked ideas, Bruno, that you
forgot I might have dumped
a leaked patch?
Yes, might have dumped it a little bit before. But anyway, the game's underway.
And let's introduce the teams. On the Dire side, we have Navi. It's going to be Havost, your 9 ranked, your 9-point carry for Navi. Oh boy. Better than Burning, as well as Sylar, apparently. Dendi going to be handling the puck. Early Null Talisman. Dendimon has been on a tear lately, but we'll have to see if he can maintain that pace against Mu, the enemy solo mid. Funnick going to be handling the Darkseer. Kuroki on the Bane. And last but not least, Puppy going to be playing the Alchemist.
And that's a support Alchemist.
Yeah, support. Something Mouse Sports has run quite a bit of, actually. Yep. We're curious if Puppy got the idea from them. On the side of Tongfu, you've got King J, off-lane Clockwork, legendary eHome 2010 championship member. They won just about every tournament that year. How? Going to be playing your one-position Lifestealer. He'll be scouting things out, but very safely in the front line. Should not be picked off. Sungshung, support Doombrainer. Dendi jumping in as the puck, but not a whole lot he can do against the Lifestealer. Banana on the Shadow Demon. And you mentioned you like bananas quite a bit, and you like this banana quite a bit as well. And last but not least, we'll have Mu playing that solo mid Storm Spirit.
Yes, and now a little bit of a skirmish, and nothing really happens. Just a right click from Puck, which Lifestealer will finish regenerating in about 10 seconds. So everyone going full health, no tangos, no salves wasted. And I really like the combination of the Bane and the Alchemist, and this actually might be a roaming pair. Now the power of this, maybe not, let's just check in the runes, I really don't know. The combination of being able to sleep someone to channel the full duration. Here we have an initiation. Banana is going to either take this.
No, haste rune picked up by Banana. Kuroki wanted to check that rune, and he is going to pay. This will be a first blood. Unless he can deny to Roche, he'll try to self-deny, and he gets it off. Well timed on the suicide there. No first blood gold for Tongfu. There is that second of invulnerability where they can't remove the sleep from
but you still
take the damage.
So, wow.
So in the end, he goes down.
I mean,
that was really well timed, but hey, his big play is self-denying and starting at the fountain. That's not the best way to start the game.
Of course not, but I mean, it's still better than giving first blood to the opponent carry.
Can't argue with you there, Bruno.
Yep. So Hvos is going to be laning mid against the Storm Spirit. I really like this matchup. I mean, the decision of Navi to go against the Storm Spirit, because Storm Spirit is very weak until he hits at least level 5. And of course, very vulnerable to ganks until he hits level 6. So putting that and also putting Kuroki in the pressure will mean that Mu will have...
They're going in top lane. King James taking a bit of damage. Puppy channeling that long duration stun. King J might be giving up first blood. He's got a salve. He pops the cogs. Can't get it off, and Puppy strikes first. He brings down the king. And that's a great start, and that's just the power of Alchemist. Even as a support, he is arguably, if not the highest damage support in the game, one of the highest. With the Alchemist, Unstable Concoction level 1 does insane damage, and it's physical damage, which means you don't get that 25% magic resistance, it's quite a bit less.
Yes, I mean, it's 150 damage, but it's physical, so against heroes that don't have huge natural armor, Clockwork only has 2, he will receive about 140, 130 out of that 150. That's a lot, because even if you get 150 magical damage, that's not even as much. And now Puppy will start doing the pulls. They will get some experience on that Alchemist, which is really important. Once he hits level 6, he will have the Rage. And after that, he can even decide to go for some Goblin's Grid, or Gribble's Grid, sorry, and decide to farm as well, and suddenly
he's a great natural mech carrier as well, but I think we'll see Funny go for that this game if he can farm it. It probably depends on how things break down. Mid lane, though, Moo's been slept, and now they're waiting for the Lucid Beam cooldown. This could be trouble. He pops a nuke and tries to head south, but I don't think he's getting away. One more Lucid Beam. Navi find 2 kills off the bat, and now they really lead 2-0 because that first kill was a deny. No gold claim there by Tongfu. They'll rotate Banana in, and it looks like Tongfu will settle into a dual lane mid. And the good news is House getting unmolested free farm in this bottom lane as a lifestealer. And Darkseer now heading into the jungle. Funnick has given up.
It's really unfortunate for Darkseer. If he knew or he realized it, that Shadow Demon is now going mid, he could go back and try to fight a little bit against the lifestealer, which is now pretty much solo, since Sunshine is, of course, being in the jungle. And he has a regen in the bottle, so he will be able to farm a little bit better and spend a little bit of damage killing creeps as well. Now this dual lane is a bit more interesting. I think Woz has to be really, really careful, because Disruption can allow Storm Spirit to just walk into the vein, put a Remnant, and start dealing a lot of damage. They have to be careful. This is by no means a clear advantage for Tongfu, but clearly a more even lane.
I would definitely give them the advantage, though, because if Mu does get into trouble, they've got the better defensive spell in Disruption, and they have 2 longer ranged heroes. The good news for Navi is they got the early kill there, and as a result, they'll have some additional items. They may be able to make up for any lane disadvantage simply through force of items.
Mid lane. Sunshine comes, stuns, Kuroki is dead.
Oh boy. Sunshine rotates out of the jungle early, got Centaur Stomp, and makes a move. Already level 4 off that. Boots and Bottle. This is very fast jungling from the Doom, and I believe he had a Dark Troll Warlord at the start. Probably the best creep to jungle with. Obviously, there's a few others that are decent, but that's one of the best. And off of that, then finds a Centaur. Great early creep luck for him, and some great ganking as well.
I really like the Hellcaster as one of the first creep, because the 3 HP regen is really interesting. Oh, what?
Havo's going to be diving into Sangsheng here, bottom ruin. He'll back off. Meanwhile, King J has managed to hit level 3 in the offlane, and they're running a Jungle Doom to hit level 4, and we could take a look at the experience graph here. It is a lead for the Radiant. In spite of the fact that Navi is juggling a Darkseer, Funnick started in the lane, didn't really slow down the Lifesteal at all, who is still your lead farmer. So I think Tongfu doing pretty well through this laning stage, and now we'll just have to see if they can get to the mid-game. Storm already level 4.
King J is getting initiated upon.
Caught in the cogs, dropping pretty low. He could maybe jump out the other way. Dendi almost dying to the Essence Spray. One more rocket. He's low, but he salves up and he keeps on chasing, and he will find the kill and be able to survive. Already has a pair of Arcane Boots. Not in the mid lane, so making an adjustment here to his item selection. But
how often do we see Arcane Boots on Puck?
Very rarely, but Puck is almost always mid, and treads are really nice if you micro your treads with a bottle.
And also, he will start for the Alchemist as well. Alchemist doesn't have a big mana pool, and his spells are kind of expensive. So getting the Arcane Boots every once in a while will make sure that they will be able to harass the Clockwork out of the lane pretty fast. Dendi is going to be huge right now. I mean, it all depends on him. He's going to hit level 6. He's probably going to buy TP. No, he has a TP already, meaning that all the other lanes have to be careful. If he decides to go on the Lifestealer, he can even kill him if he has some assistance from any of the other heroes on Navi.
I just want to point out how effective this Jungle Doom has been. Yes, he got a bit lucky with those early creep spawns, but finds a kill mid, is now pushing bottom. Already level 5 as a jungle roaming ganking Doom, and now a pushing Doom as well. Plus, eating Ion Shell creeps and maxing Devour first, so going for the greediest possible farming skill build, still having a huge impact, and already up to Arcane Boots. This is some really spectacular Doom play. In fact, his net worth is better than the enemy Darkseer, and how often do you see a Doom out-farming a Darkseer as a jungler, as a roamer? It's very rare. Great play early on from Sangsheng.
In Phoenix defense, he had to rotate. He started in the offlane, had to go back. Then he went back to the offlane. I mean, he's the sacrificial lamb of Navi right now. Because if you look at Puppey, Puppey's been getting a lot in the Alchemist. And even Kuroki is level 4 at 6 minutes, which is not something that you normally see in a tri-lane. But because they're doing dual lanes, and because Navi is more or less controlling that mid lane, Kuroki is getting pretty much what he wants. Unfortunately, that means that someone has to pay the price. And when you're playing with such an expensive, like, greedy lineup, in this case, it's Darks here.
The other really good thing for Navi is that Dendi has had a pretty good start overall. And generally for Navi, when they're winning, it's with Dendi playing well. Bottom lane, House posting up on Funny, getting rather aggressive. Top lane, action onto King J, eats a stun to the face. Now Dendi could orb over the top, deploys a coil, the orb will connect, and King J, nothing to do but drop here. He will fall. This is going to be a pretty fast blink dagger for Dendi, and I can't stress enough just how much he matters to this team. Some teams, their solo mid gets shut down. Like, for example, LGD, if Yao or Xiao 8 doesn't have a great start, they can often bounce back just because of their strategy and their playstyle. But for a team like Navi, their two-position player, Dendi, is, I would say, the most important player on the team, just in terms of influencing whether they win or lose. His teammates set him up for success, but he needs to have that success for them to make things happen, and right now, he is.
He's definitely getting anything. I mean, at this point, he has 780 gold in his bank, needs 1400 to get a Blink Dagger. He's going to get it really, really fast. And King J, a player that I love really, but he's being so poor right now. He's 0-3 and 4, just 11 creeps, and only Stout Shield and Boots of Pith. You really want that level 6 in the Clockwork to start being effective. You have the Clockwork hook, then the Storm Spirit jumps. Now you have something interesting going on. Even Doom is level 6 right now, but they really need that level 6 on the clock, otherwise he's not going to make an impact. And because Puck is getting so many levels, the more he stays in that lane, the more
they want to zip so bad, and they'll find Havos. The defensive sleep could be there from Kuroki, not deploying anything yet. Doom couldn't get in range to use his Doom. Now the nukes come out as well. Teleport scroll actually got cancelled here by Navi, and they will in the end survive. Now Havost has Eclipse, and now Hal comes in. They really want to make something happen on this middle lane. Kuroki has been isolated, rage deployed. Now the open wounds comes out, self-sleep, but that only buys him a bit of time here as Hal continues slicing away at him. The Eclipse comes in. This could turn it around. Never mind that. Havost now doomed. Can he be denied in time? The rocket comes through. Not going to connect. Now a pause from Tongfu. And Havost is probably not happy with the timing of this pause.
This looks like a demon pause to me.
Yeah, I don't think Tongfu have the demon paws in them, but if they did, this would be that moment.
They're like, you're going to die now. Anyways, Havos died.
He could get denied here by Funnick, but Funnick surged himself in. Actually, Surge about to wear off, so... well, no spells left on Tongfu, so might be able to get that denied. We'll have to see.
He might be able. Let's
no
go
more mana for poison?
No more mana for poison. That's the important thing, and he has no dots on him, so... Maybe.
Oh,
there he comes. There he comes. Yeah,
he's actually got 9 stick charges, but not going to be able to use them.
Nope.
Chop. Karate chop from the Darkseer.
And here comes Puppey, level 6, very angry, but it's not a farming alchemist. It's a support alchemist, which, by the way, has a medallion already.
Yeah, they could go for a very early Roche Navi. Could if they win a big fight, Acid Spray, already level 3, medallion online. The only issue is they don't have a mech, and their team doesn't really have any great heroes to tank it. But with a mech or just with some levels, around, say, that 10 to 15 minute mark, if they win a big fight, look towards Navi to think about Roche.
Absolutely. And Funny will be the one probably getting that mech. Of course, he didn't have the best of start.
They want to make a go top on Dendi here. This will be a big time to do it. King J, he is infested. They're trying to bait Dendi into using his orb, and then they'll make a go. He does drop the orb, but the silence also hits. Dendi's been trapped. He will head south. He's ported in and jaunts away, tries to escape, buying time for his orb to cool down. Both heroes coiled up. The cogs are there. Dendi to TP out, and he will get away. That's your first infest bomb. Call it not a success.
Not a success at all. I mean, they had to wait a little bit more. They went way too early. Now, the orb was still in the air. Dendi, of course, had the reaction time because he's Dendi. And they're going on Puppey now, and Puppey seems to be dead right now.
Yeah, Puppey does not have orb. He is level 6, but still, I don't know if he can actually fight his way out of this. He's channeling the stun. That's a level 4 rage, but it will wear off now. Wow. Perfect timing from Puppey, and he think he will live here. Medallion thrown out on How as Puppey retreats. Now Banana on the run. Rotation in from Funnick. He is actually already level 8. This could be trouble for
level
Banana.
6.
Vacuum back, no TP to get out. Gets gripped as well. Hal comes back in. Really wants a taste of Puppey. He'll get the kill. But boy, did he have to work for that one. King J will join the fray as well. Invisrun bottled up by your storm. Does he have a TP? He does, and he's heading towards the bottom rune for the time being. Could he make a go on Dendi? I don't think he can solo kill him yet, but with this help coming from Sangsheng, this would be a very easy kill. They just need to pull Dendi and then doom him. Doom's going to be in range. Dendi is screwed.
Yep.
No deny even available. Puppey will TP him, but it's too late. And that great start I mentioned for Dendi, well, that's a death for him. He was driven back to base the other time. He is just not finding space to farm this Blink Dagger. Tongfu are really putting pressure on him.
And not only that, it's a kill for Doom, which already has 2.1k gold.
He's almost the highest net worth in this game as a jungle roaming Doom.
And Sansheng, the 5 position player, this is not like, okay, we gave, I don't know, Mu, or we gave someone that actually has an impact, the Doom. No, they went with Sansheng, the support player. They're like, don't worry, if you get some farm, it's going to be fine. You can do it. We trust you. And Sansheng is delivering, man.
Yeah. He had good creep luck, and that makes a huge difference on Doom, but his movements have been great, and that's my one concern for Navi is they don't have a Shadow Demon. So if someone gets caught by a Doom, by a Storm Bomb, there's only that 1 second invulnerability of sleep where maybe you can buy a bit of time and they can't blow you up. It's not disruption, and they're a bit vulnerable to these aggressive dives, but Tongfu, we'll have to see. If they continue to play aggressively at this point in the game, I think they basically just need to get their next items.
Mid lane, do they know that Nex is there?
Oh no. Is he really in this creep? Hook in. Now a pop out from How. That was some ninja shenanigans. Havos trapped in the cogs. Trying to run. He does have Eclipse. If this rage wears off at the wrong time, it could be bad. Havos, he's finagling for a nuke. Back on 2. Silence as well. Navi love to fight early and often, and they're getting those fights. It's 7-6. It could be 8-6. In a second here, they can't find that last kill. Now they have found Sangsheng, but he is tanky. He's not an easy kill. There's an Eclipse available. He'll get it off in time. Mu will zip far away.
Oh, he dodged that one. He dodged the last one.
Yeah, he dodged the last one, but I think Denny will find him here anyway. Has a silence, pops it, and gets the kill. Eclipse is down, but Navi just 5-man TP to the bottom lane. Oh, by the way, here's a crouching Doom, hidden flaming sword. Tell me how this is not obvious.
It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Hamas will go there, keep farming.
If you're this Luna, you're just like, well, I see a giant flaming sword there, but there's no one holding it. It must be safe to go farm the 6 creep wave.
I want to see.
Oh, this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well. Oh, poor Havos. I think he died. Yeah, one last nuke. I think he'll die here. Yeah, definitely with the rocket. Can I just say Havost is having a very sad game. Puppey almost in time to deny him. 0, 2, and 3.
Sansheng, you're
What do you do if you're Luna at this point? You just can't farm anywhere because they have Clockwork, Lifestealer bombs. They have Dooms who just hang around Invis. Oh boy, and that's a Shadow Blade already in Sangsheng. That is so potent. Navi's I'd say maybe not the Alchemist, but like everyone else is very vulnerable to a Shadow Blade Doom gank. Great item pickup, really fast start, and a player who I feel Banana's the real standout support on this team, but Sangsheng is proving us a bit wrong here, at least in this game. Hook in. There's a 2-hero hook and a Lifestealer bomb. Not going to be good for Kuroki. Denny, however, does get out. Now Havos TP's back in. Defensive sleep by Kuroki. Still alive for the time being. And he is going to live. Is there a rocket coming from the... Oh, no, sorry. Clockwork's dead. So.
Clockwork's dead, yeah.
I'm just so used to looking for it, but there's no hook.
Oh, no, there's no...
Here comes Sangsheng. He immediately dissolves the smoke. Puppey starts channeling a stun. He heads south. They didn't know the Doom was there. This game is getting awful clowny in a hurry. Sangsheng, Shadowblade online again. He heads towards Kuroki. Maybe gonna find this kill. Wraps around the trees. No, he'll head south. But I think Kuroki. Oh no, not there, Kuroki. Don't go there. And he dies as well. What is this game? Coil deployed mid. Banana disrupts and then runs away, buying himself time to get to safety. Bruno, I just can't stop laughing. This game is blowing my mind.
I don't remember such a fun game in quite a long time. I mean, it's been okay. It's more than 1 kill per minute, which is really healthy. But it's not about the kills getting. It's how the kills are getting there. People jumping. Now Mu is in top lane. He's being silenced. He's being hit by Puppey, Funny. Dead, Storm Spirit. He's not having the best of the game. But I don't know. I feel that Navi is taking the better engagements. But at the same time, Tongfu is getting a lot. Sansheng being there with that Shadow Blade. If I was him, I would go on Dendi every single time because just a Doom and a level death, and you kill him.
Yeah, that's the issue for Dendi, is normally there's so many spells you can't phase shift dodge, really. If Storm zips in and pulls you, that's not something you can phase shift dodge. You can phase shift and just try to wait it out. Doom, same issue there. Clockwork Hook, if it does hit and there's some follow-up, then no real way out of that. If there's an Orchid for Mu, which is going to be the choice, it's just a hard game for Pup. There's not things like Magic Missile, Storm Bolt, Even a burrow strike, well, not burrow strike, because that's pretty much instant. A light strike array. All these disables they have for Dendy are instant, so it's just a really tough matchup for Puck.
Sunshine finds Puppy top, but decides not to do anything about it. Puppy just runs away. And if I was Dendy, I'm not kidding, I would blow Lincoln Sphere here.
It's a really good Lincoln Sphere game, because that counters all of the instant initiation that I just mentioned. But farming a Lincoln is going to be hard when there's so many threats to you prowling the map, and that's my one main concern for Navi. They lost their tier 1 top, they lost their tier 1 bottom. Their safe space to farm is dramatically constricted because of the nature of Tongfu's lineup. Great long-range initiation, lots of burst damage, and the lack of a great defensive hero on the Navi side. If they get jumped on, it's just hard to find a way out.
Yeah, I mean, the only benefit that Navi might have is that Tongfu is kind of weak against BKBs. There's the clock hook. There's the Doom, which dooms you, but doesn't deal damage as long as you have the BKB, right?
Oh, actually, no, it's universal damage. It actually does go through.
Oh,
BKB.
it does go through now? Was there a time where it didn't?
There might have been. I actually don't remember, but I do know now it does.
Well, that kind of hurts. Well, never mind what I say.
Yeah, it definitely hurt. I mean, the BKB is still nice, though, because Storm can't pull you. You can't be disrupted. Purge goes through. It's not like the best BKB game ever, but even just dodging something like Open Wounds would definitely help. And also, BKB gives you some HP, which is frankly what Navi needs. They need HP to live through the burst damage, so that will be the choice for a boast. Banana's looking to go in here, and I think they might even contest this. Rocket comes through, teleports up on Moo. He could join this fight. They've got 3 heroes converging on the mid lane. Navi won a 5-man because they know they can't farm against the global split-pushing ganky power of this Tongfu lineup, but going into that is also really dangerous because if Dendy gets caught, you just don't have any counter-initiate, really. And they will back off.
They have to back off because the power of that rocket revealing everything. And
no secrets here, Bruno.
Nope, they have to be seen all the time. I think they need more levels, and this is one of the times where Puppy, which decided to go full acid spray and stable concoction, not one single point on Grievous Grid. At least he's level 9 now, so whenever he levels, he will start to go, unless he decides to go for stats, get some Grievous Grid. And that might be the thing that they actually need. Maybe Puppy getting some items can restore the balance in this game that at the moment, while as I say, I think that Navi has the better individual decision, Tongfu is dominating.
Yeah, Tongfu, it's just the nature of their draft. If they get level 6 and they have a decent start, and Navi loses towers, like what do you do against that? These heroes can jump you from like 2 screens away at least. Clockwork, a screen, maybe a screen and a half. The Storm Spirit 2 for sure. And Shadowblade Doom, you never know where he is. The Lifestealer can always be infested. It's only really the Shadow Demon whose movements you can track reliably and be prepared for. And it's why we see Navi constantly clustered up near their mid tower. The state of the game is they have to almost wait for Tongfu to just overextend. They're not that far behind. It's more just if Tongfu just continue to split push, split farm, and then defend this tier 1 and Navi aren't able to get it, that will be trouble. But for Navi, they have a mech. The BKB coming, I believe, fairly soon for Havost. He's already got the Ogre Club. He's almost got the Mithril Hammer. And they do have Acid Spare, which is a pretty decent team fight, just ability to fight in. They're a slightly stronger 5-man lineup if they get their spells off correctly, and they're taking advantage of that. They're going to try and push mid. There's a sleep on Moo to start things off. Now Puppy channels the stun. Denny blinks in. Silence to follow as well. Beautiful Eclipse. Catches everyone. They find 2 off the bat. Now How, coiled up. Rage not available. Could infest, and he will. He'll pop right back out. The Doom went on Funnick. And now How, on the run. I think he might even go down here. He's tried to rage and fight through and kill off Kuroki. They get Kuroki, but they are going to pay heavily.
Wow.
Another Alk stun. Another kill. And Tongfu just not respecting the power of Navi's 5-man. The back, the wall, the mech, and the Dendy coil combo. That did so much work.
Unfortunately, the Doom came way too early. He doomed Funnick, but after Funnick did everything...
Oh, you mean way too late? Yeah.
way too late.
Yeah, he used everything. Vacuum and wall.
Exactly. And then he was doomed. So I was like, okay, you're dooming a guy
Awkward.
that's really tanky. I don't know. I mean, again, execution. Navi did very well there. Tongfu will have to be scratching their heads. Okay, we did something wrong right now. We have to rethink. But they still have some strong things. Important that the Doom survived because, let's be honest, I mean, he's kind of like the carry of this game. How is having a nice game. Sunshine is having an absolutely great game. And he's going mech right now. And with that mech, all the burst damage that can come from the pack, the burst damage that can come even from the Eclipse, or some surprising alchemy stun, will be offset just by that. And when it comes to that, you can say, well, you only have one right clicker at the moment. Alchemist can be a right clicker, but will not be for quite a long time.
Even Havost, his right clicks are fairly meager because all he's got is a VKB. they are somewhat reliant on their magic damage through this stage of the game, but later on, their ability to win in a right-click war is... I think they actually might have an edge there. It's just a lifestealer, and there's a Fiend script to deal with him. He still has to fight in the middle of Acid Spray, and you could just Surge Heroes away. But Tongfu, they need to find pickoffs. That's really the big thing for them. There's no mech up on the Doom. They zip in. Here's your lifesteal bomb. They've gone directly onto Kuroki. They'll bring him down in a hurry. Now they've tried to focus on Dendy, who continues to run. Mu continues to chase. Coil on 2. No rage available. Actually, Mu will zip south into the river, and Dendy blinks forward. Wants to kill him off. He will, and then he orbs back to safety. Hao still healthy, and from the backside comes the support. Tongfu just ran straight up the mid lane, and now wrap around. They did kill off Tavost. King J, hook already used. Going on to Puppey has underestimated the power of that medallion. Defensive disruption from Banana tries to buy him some time. It won't buy him nearly enough now. He's getting body blocked. He's getting surrounded. Sang Shang just casually drives by, hunting Dendy. Throws out the level death. I think the urn will kill him. It will. And that gives them a 600 gold bounty for an unstoppable streak. 4 heroes do fall in the end. Puppey stunning himself in celebration as the team fight at long last finally ends.
You know what? I'm going to say something very controversial, but I think Tongfu won that fight. I mean, given the fact that they started off really, really bad, Doom survived once again. They killed Havos and Dendy. The money that went from Dendy just for that kill was enough to pretty much offset all the small other deaths that they had. And that money went to the Doom as well. Doom now has a mech, meaning they can withstand the burst damage once again a lot. And now, Doom, I mean, at this point, of course, you're the support player and you want some support items. But getting so much, you might be thinking, okay, let's give some farm to this guy, because at this point, why not? Let's just get something more on the responsibility of the support items on the clock, because this is doing very well.
Yeah, just because they got the mech alone, I feel that makes a big difference. And as you rightly point out, Navi lost core heroes in that fight, and a lot of them. That Alk is unfortunately a support, which means him living is nice, but not as essential as Havos living. Still has to farm his BKB, is slowly getting closer. Well, Navi have taken some scrappy fights. As far as golden experience goes, though, it's been very even and remains so right now. 250 gold lead for Navi, minimal at best. 3,500 experience lead is decent, but everyone's already sort of hit their stride at this point. Storm's level 13, Doom's level 13, Clockwork a bit under-leveled, but King J is mostly just a vehicle for the lifestealer and a hook and a cog, so that's all he really counts for. And he should be able to get those off in most fights. The mech pickup against so much AoE, that is the #1 thing that Tongfu needed, and now they have it. The next step for them is to get this Mu Orchid. I feel that's absolutely essential. If you get that, and you have Doom, you can disable the Darkseer and the Puck, and those are the 2 most important heroes by far. Without them, Navi can't take a team fight. So farming up that Orchid has to be next on the priority list, and for the time being, it seems like Tongfu aren't really forcing things too much. They do want to start to get up some of these next items.
Wouldn't be right. It wouldn't even be bad to force to farm the Orchid also on the Doom. Get 2 Orchids as well. Doom can definitely do that. But I want to single out Banana. If you click on him, look at his skill build. It's kind of weird. 2 points on Soul Catcher and 3 points on Disruption. Normally you want to leave Disruption for the end, just because it scales better when the other guys deal more physical damage in early game. The damage that you get from that is not long enough. I mean, the illusions last 1 more second per level, which is something nice, but not huge. I think this is in mind of thinking about the Luna right now. And speaking of that, Roshan is going through.
Yeah, normally against an illusion-based carry, which Luna is later on, you can tend to go for that. Habos comes in, Disrupt is forced out on him, and now Navi surge forward, blink forward. Dendy jumps in. They found Banana. They've used a decent amount to bring him down. Havos will be alive for the time being. However, he is doomed. In comes your Infest Bomb. It's hit quite a few. Hook over the top. Grip was there by Krogi, but it does get canceled, I believe, by Battery Assault. King J's isolated him, but maybe it's King J who's isolated. He runs to the Roche pit. Take me, Roche. Take me now. He won't do it. Now he goes back in and dies. They haven't addressed the storm problem, and this could prove to be their downfall. 4 dead. It will be 5. Sang Sheng doing so much work on this 4-position Doom. Call it now a 1-position Doom, because he is 7-0-4, and they're about to steal this rush. Let's Dendy can orb in and snatch it.
Oh, he did it!
Snatches the
He
Aegis.
did it!
Dendy, man. Opa, Dendy, but he'll pay, I believe, with that lead Aegis. Can he blink out? Can he do it?
He does.
He blinks into the
He
pit.
does.
He
No,
does
it
have an orb. Dendy's gone. He gets out of there scot-free. Wow. Well, that is not something you game plan for.
Well, you know, Bumbo kind of does this and dies. Dendy steals the Aegis against 5 guys.
Hey,
walks
be
away.
nice to Bambo. Bambo's, you can't
I,
play
lo-
that, man.
I love Bambo, but I mean, wow. This was amazing.
They did steal the Roche, the Aegis, but Tongfu did come out way ahead in terms of
No.
experience there.
Forget about that. Forget about that. I mean, in that situation, stealing the Aegis is a huge win. Then you can look at how they were team-wiped and how Tongfu is now dominating.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but forget about that for a moment. Rejoice on what
I
Dandy just
did!
did.
Did you not hear me?
No, I'm not hearing
I'm
you
not
now.
celebrating enough, Bruno.
You're not celebrating enough.
Okay. Break out the champagne and I'll happily have some.
Yes, here you go.
Yeah. Mountain Dew not going to cut it. That's for sure. That was a great Aegis snipe. We'll try and take a look at how the rest of the game is going, though. It is a 4.5k gold lead for Tongfu, a 4.5k experience lead. They're starting to find the rhythm here. Dendi on the hunt with that Aegis. Can he make it work?
Oh,
Isolate Banana. Now the silence comes. The coil could be next. Banana will fall. Don't even need the coil to bring him down.
The banana falls
And now
from the
King
tree.
J. Stunned actually under an illusion by Puppy. Not able to get in range to target the right hero, or just got confused there. I think he was actually in range. But in the end, Navi looking to push this tower. Kuroki smoked up. And pretty good defensive posture from Tongfu. By the way, there's a BKB on Sangsheng. This Doom is a pain and a half to deal with. Top lane, Mu is pushing towards the base. He does have his Orchid. He's got 1,500 gold. Puppy channeling the stun. Throws it out. Lobs it. Barely even scratches the Doom. Did I mention he's tanky? He's very tanky.
He is very tanky indeed. And I have to applaud the decision. Puppy now going for Shadow Blade. This support alchemist looks less and less like a support. It kind of reminds me of the times where Puppy plays the Lycan, which of course hasn't happened in a long time because Lycan not as powerful a hero as he was. But Puppy knows how to play these heroes that get some kind of farm right now. And if you look at the Medallion as well, Medallion is a support item, but it helps you as well. If you get tanky enough, it's kind of like having Desolator just for the orb part. That alchemist is starting to become kind of a small problem. And if it's not kept in check, then it will be the game of the supports. Sansheng and Puppy.
Yeah,
making the big plays.
Right now, Sangsheng is heavily winning that battle. He is 6k ahead of Puppy. But Greevil's Greed maybe will be the comeback mechanic here. And also, Sangsheng has spent a lot of his gold on mid-game items. He's gone for Shadowblade Mech, BKB. It leaves him a little bit less room to scale just in terms of inventory slots. You'll have to replace some of those. But overall, the bigger picture for this game is that Tongfu, they did get those next core items. The Mech, the BKB, the Orchid on the Storm. And they're a very gank-oriented lineup. Their lineup doesn't have the best team fight. They have some great single-target lockdown. But they would much rather find pickoffs. And truth be told, we haven't seen Tongfu find the room to get constant Lifestealer Bomb pickoffs. Navi have been playing quite smart and quite defensively. And so instead, Tongfu, I think they're best off just split pushing and trying to outfarm Navi. At least get something like a Scythe Device, get your Abyssal Blade on the Lifestealer, and angle a bit more towards late game.
You know what item would help Tongfu actually 5-man and push and get more control? An Aegis, but they don't have it because that guy stole it.
Are you a Dendi fan, Bruno?
No, I'm not a Dendi fan. I'm a Great Place fan.
You're not a Dendi fan?
I'm not a Dendi
Are
fan.
you a
I'm
Dendi
a Dendi
hater?
friend.
Oh, okay.
Which is better.
That is so politically correct. All the flame you were giving me about the hexagons yesterday, and now this.
Hey, he's my friend.
You're
okay?
a wish-washy, Bruno.
You can't be a fan of your friends.
You're a flip-flopper.
I wear flip-flops.
You're an
Is that
Al
the
Gore
same?
for the 21st century.
That's not entirely bad.
Actually,
I mean,
Al
could be
Gore,
worse.
Yeah, he's taken a pretty, at least, well, we'll leave politics aside. But Tongfu, they'll push this top lane. They'll continue to farm it up. Man, you almost got me into a lot of trouble. Personal politics on a Dota cast. That is exactly what Twitch chat wants to hear right now. As I see Sexy Dendi, Opa, Sexy Dendi, no space. They really care about Al Gore, I'll tell you.
Absolutely. So moving on, we have still Puppy farming for that Shadow Blade Kuroki. Of course, the 5-position player does not get much. He only gets an Urn of Shadow. But more importantly, he has level 2 Fiend's Grip. And that increases damage quite a lot as well. It's not only about controlling the Lifestealer, but if you catch the Storm Spirit or even the Doom, this Doom right now, you want to kill that guy, because if you kill him, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, how are they going to do it? The physical damage is the thing they really need. Puppy's working towards it. Shadowblade will be next. Tavost has his drums. I think he actually went back for this after the BKB. I believe he did. And now he can start to farm the next damage item. If Navi can farm, start to get Puppy and Havos legitimately big, and Dendi can get a Scythe, they'll go into late game with, I think, the slightly stronger physical DPS lineup. Because Doom has gone utility, Lifestealer can be kited to some extent by Surge and Fiend Script, and the rest of the team is magic damage. So if it goes late enough, I think Navi will be in pretty good shape because of the nature of their lineup. But they do have to get there. And right now, they take a tier 2 bottom. Tongfu push out all the lanes, top and mid, and might be setting up to make a go on whoever shows their face. Sangsheng and Hao thinking about it. Farming together? Are we going to see an Infest Bomb? Looks like not.
Not
that
right
Aegis should be wearing off any second now.
Yeah, it's about 30 seconds or so. But the interesting thing about Hao is that while Navi seems to have the proper right click, and there goes the Aegis, the fact that Hao has a Vasher, that's such a huge thing because all you need is a proper Vash on Dendi, for example, one of the heroes that can escape, or even the Darks here. And you lock them down for 2 seconds, which means that you can kill him, and suddenly you change the whole thing. I mean, of course, you can't build your team around getting a lucky Vash. But if it happens, just right, let's say it happens just out of the Nix Bomb, and you kill one of those clutch heroes, then suddenly your life is much, much easier. And now we see Puppy and Hobos farming the Asians. It was just a 2 stacks. It's not that much. But that means that Alchemist now has his Shadow Blade, and Hobos can decide to go for another item. Will he finish the Manta, or do you think he'll just keep the Yasha and go for something more?
Meta's pretty good this game because you can remove Orchid with it. He does already have a BKB. Won't help you against Doom, of course. I think Meta's decent here. There's not that much AoE in Tongfu, and it helps them push. And if they win a fight, they do want to try and break the base. But either way, for Navi, they really want to find a big 5v5, get a vacuum into a coil, into an Alch stun. That's the ideal order of operations for them, whereas Tongfu would much rather have these chaotic fights. They're best when the enemy team is dispersed and when they're on the run, and they'll be trying to disperse them here. They rotate under cover of smoke down towards the bottom lane, wrapping around. Navi, so far the enemy jungle, they may just head mid and completely dodge this. We'll see, though. They're still grouped up. Oh, this could be bad. I don't know if they realize this is coming. Mid lane's pushing in. Top lane's pushing in. They might be expecting Tongfu just to defend bottom because the lanes are pushing the other 2 lanes. Here's the Sentry Ward. Sangsheng will strut right over it. Have Navi been paying attention? That's the question. The Shadow Blade wears off. It's been revealed. The jig is up. Who's going to strike first? It will be a blink north by Funnick. A hook. Catches a Boast. And now the fight breaks out in a fury. Oh boy. That wall was pretty decent. A Boast dropping low. However, Sangsheng comes in. He tries to eat Dendi. He's doomed Puppy. But while Puppy was in chemical range, and he's not doing quite enough here, I feel. He backs off. In the end, they've only killed off a Boast so far. Kuroki low, but this Life Stealer has not even been scratched, and that means he can start to go ham on some enemy heroes. There's no Fiend script. He'll give chase. He'll find a kill. 2 will fall. Again, a chaotic fight. That's what Tongfu won. That's where they're going to be strongest, and they had a great one there.
Yep, and there it went. They went straight for Hobos. Hobos had to use his BKB, pop the Eclipse. Actually, a really nice Eclipse. King J disappeared pretty much immediately. But that was not enough. Of course, they had their eyes set on him. Unfortunately, that meant that Tongfu had to split up. And that confuses Navi a little bit, I think, because they didn't know whether to chase the guys that were trying to go for Hobos and defend, or stay there. They got Hobos, they got Kuroki. Tongfu gets a tier 2 tower, and the possibility of rush, because it will be up in 1 minute. And if they establish knockdown control, I would have liked to see them farm Navi's jungle.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should be punishing Navi more for the fact that they're behind and have to roam as 5. Split pushing, farming the enemy jungle, get some aggressive wards up, buy a gem. All of these are things that I think Tongfu are now in a position to do. They do have gem money as well on Banana. Already picked up a 4-step. I think we'll see one soon. Especially with Roche respawning, this makes a big difference. And there is a Shadow Blade on Puppy. Speaking of gems, Funnick's actually bought one. Darkseer buying a gem for Puppy. Also, Funnick did go for Blink Dagger. And I like this choice because they just need to get a perfect Vac, Coil, Alchemist done. That's the kind of fight Navi need to reliably shut down Tongfu. So Blink Dagger, an item that helps you get that.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to spot a thing that sounds really, really small. But Tongfu just rocketed Roshan 1 minute before Roshan spawned. That makes me believe that Tongfu didn't know the proper time. Because, I mean, you have to assume that the enemy knows. And if the enemy is Roshan and Roshan is there, point of a rocket flare, again, right now, we see another rocket flare there.
If they were listening to this cast, maybe they figured Ice Frog is a Dendi fanboy. It might have changed the time this game, Bruno.
I don't know. I mean, why are you
anticipating your tricks?
There's no point in doing that unless you don't know the time. And that's kind of problematic to me because you have to.
Oh, here's a big smoke, though. Tongfu, they might not be sure about the Roche time, but they are sure they want to take a fight. They're smoked up.
Now they found it.
And they're looking to backstab Navi. Roche is online. Navi wrapping around towards the bottom lane. Dendi close to a scythe device, doesn't have it yet. They'll stop to farm some neutrals here.
And now they know about Roche.
They really need sentry wards in front of them. Actually, sorry, scratch that. They do have the gem. Sangsheng in the lead. He's got a BKB. The fight could break out any second now. They'll find Hobos first. He pops his BKB. He pops an Eclipse. Sangsheng Doom is not even used yet. Funny can't get off the combo. Well timed, but I don't know if it's enough. The Clockwork Falls, the Shadow Demon, and the Lifestealer all already dead. The early Eclipse doing so much work. Blinking over the top is Dendi. Wants to make it 4, and I think they will. The Doom will fall. That's what happens if the Eclipse comes out, and the vac did go off. It was only the wall that didn't get deployed. Just this Doom, Sunshine, a little bit too hesitant to drop Doom. He definitely had an opportunity there to shut down Havos.
That was terrible, terrible for Tongfu. I mean, a great fight from Navi. The moment right now they popped the Eclipse, they had absolute control of the fight. Doom went too greedy, as you said. They couldn't capitalize on anything, and they just died one by one. And
also,
that
I didn't see how the Lifestealer died. Did he not get off rage?
He didn't.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know if he got stunned by the Alk or Fiend's Grip, but that's also a crucial factor. If he gets off rage, the Eclipse damage doesn't affect him, and he is an Abyssal Blade. I mean, he really hurts in these fights. And Navi, I think they need like 3 or 4 heroes to focus him down. Otherwise, he can probably kill 2 by himself. But great fight from Navi. They take Roshan number 2 off the back of that, and now the gold graph starts to dip.
Yeah, and Puppy is getting to that point
He's
where
getting big. Now, I mean, now look at the net worth. He's starting to catch up. He is behind about 5k gold to this Doom, but
yeah,
if he gets an Assault Cuirass, that's really going to mitigate what Hal can do in the fights.
And speaking of Assault Cuirass, is Sunshine going for an Assault Cuirass as well? He has a random platemate there, 2.3k gold. I mean, he can go for either that or a Shivas. At this point, do you want to rely on more magical damage, or do you just want to make your team hit harder?
I think Shiva's is a bit better because you're up against Darkseer. So I guess he's got BKB. He's not guaranteed to be caught in the wall, but if he pops that at the right time. But if you give the enemy team an Assault Cuirass aura, that is not a good way to start a fight. So we'll see. Either one is definitely an option. But I feel Tongfu in general is a bit lackey on AoE, and getting something like a Shiva's just helps your Lifestealer chase really effectively. We'll see. Tongfu have really been trying to find pickoffs this game. It's been a lot of smokes, but a lot of 4 or 5-man smokes, and it might just be a bit too predictable. But ultimately, I feel that last fight, if Doom is just used sooner, it's a completely different fight.
Yeah. I mean, he hesitated. I think he wanted to go for Dendi or for Havos.
Or the Darkseer,
But I mean, you've been in that position once. Like, you want to have the Doom before the clutch spells go. And he sees Havos, and he's like, oh, I'm going to Doom him before he eclipses, and Havos just eclipses. So he goes for Dendi and says, I'm going to Doom him before he coils. And then he coils. So, well, now I have to go on Darkseer. And that little second that you missed, that you were supposed to throw the Doom just before, makes you change targets, and it becomes more and more complicated. We see a fight coming top. Puppy is charging the stun, but no one's there. It's going to just get stunned.
Yeah, he's gone play it now. Assault Cuirass, almost certainly the choice for him. Truth be told, they could have their own AC, because Banana could disrupt him as well, but it's still a nice item against the Lifestealer. Surviving longer. That's going to help Navi get off their proper combo. As long as they don't die to burst damage and they get off the Scythe, the Vac, the Wall, the Eclipse, the Manta Illusions, it will be very difficult for Tongfu to fight into that much AoE. And I think Tongfu are just going to sit back and try and wait out this Aegis. And I imagine if you're Navi, you really want to force a fight during this time. At least take the tier 2 top, the tier 2 mid. They're playing a bit tentatively right now, but they've got a few minutes to go, about 3 to 4 minutes. And we'll probably see them trying to make something happen here now, bottom.
I think if you're Navi, you just push the bottom lane a little bit, get some wards, make it your objective to just farm the enemy jungle, get some wards in the enemy jungle, and try to get that tier 2 middle, because the tier 2 top, you couldn't care less about that. If you actually get the tier 2 middle, Navi loses control of the jungle, absolutely. So now you can do those 5-man smokes, you can do the things that you want to do, you can farm the jungle, you can do whatever. And Tongfu will be very, very limited to just farming the lanes. And I mean, in this battle of attrition, when you have an alchemist and you'll start getting more and more gold by the same amount of farm, the control of the map becomes very, very important.
Yeah, Tongfu, map control for them, we could actually take a look at the vision here for both teams, is not so great. They are very reliant on observer wards. Their own jungle is pretty much free for Navi to farm. Bottom lane's pushing in, mid lane at the river. For Navi, quite a bit better. And after taking Roche, they felt confident, make an aggressive foray into the enemy jungle, get up some observer wards at the river. They actually, against Tongfu's lineup, you really need this vision. You don't want to get caught by a Lifestealer Bomb, by a Storm Zip, by a Doom Shadow Blade. Shiva's is the choice for Sangshang. Not a bad pickup. I think the warding game is essential for Navi to maintain this lead. If they don't get jumped and they get off a 5-man fight, it should go their way. And right now, smoked up, unlikely they will get caught. They're going to be hunting Tongfu.
We're going to see what happens. I mean, do they know where Tongfu is? And that's the question. They probably saw Mu going for the rune.
Oh,
yeah.
Mu. This is not where you want to be. He's psyched up. They need a stun to connect. Now, Silence pulled back in. Gripped as well. They did blow a freeze grip for that, but get Storm dead for 80 seconds. Absolutely worth it. He could have maybe BKB'd there. Well, I think he had like a second after the Scythe wore off.
Yeah,
not sure.
He could have maybe.
It was
but
close.
It's really close. He probably didn't see the stun coming. The Unstable Concoction thought he was okay. Unfortunately, he didn't zip in because he was silenced, but I mean, it's one of those decisions, milliseconds that you have to take, and he will be sitting there. He can buy back if he has to. He hopes he doesn't have to. But right now, it's not the problem about the Storm, but rather how.
This is perfect for Navi. After getting that pick off, you can force the buyback, because you have an Aegis still. It's not even that risky of a play. They're pushing down the mid lane. They have exactly 1 minute. At least can pressure the tier 2 top. No, they're going to play it super safe. They're just going to steal some Ancients, doing some additional economic damage on their way out.
Get the D ward as well, important, because now less and less map control for Tongfu means that they'll have to play more careful. And as fun as that Sunshine Doom was, it didn't. I mean, it could make lots of damage when they were playing as separately. But now that Dendi has his items, he has the Scythe of Vice. It's time for Navi to group up as 5, try to fight, and Shadowblade Doom is not as effective in those situations. Yeah, you can't pick one off.
It could still turn a fight if he gets off Doom and prevents Navi from getting their team.
No, I mean, in 5v5, absolutely. By just like trying to get pick-offs by yourself, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can't pressure heroes solo. And Navi, they do feel a lot more confident. Havos farming way past the river, or not past the river, but way into the top lane. Earlier this game, we saw Navi, they'd sit like around this area of the map, just feeling very restricted, limited in terms of where they could farm. But now they have the items up, the support's roaming with him. Puppey was farming mid. Plate Mail picked up, and I believe an Assault Cuirass along with that. Yeah, it will be. They have their lineup is a really scary 5v5 line.
We're going to see a clash. Let's see if they jump on Havos. Oh no, they missed it.
Big smoke by Tongfu into the enemy jungle. Zip in. They will pull. They'll grab Funnick. They want to bring him down quickly. Eclipse gets deployed. King J tanking all the beams to the face. However, Israid's not tanking any. Mu jumping forward, just wants to actually kill someone. Kuroki still not dead. Havos doomed and dropping low. Sangshan working on him. They'll bring him down in time. This is right after that Aegis ran out. Puppey. Oh no. How doesn't get the bash he needs. Now they'll be forced back. The buyback from Havos. And Tongfu on the way out. Puppey giving chase. Lobs a stun. Rage wasn't there. He's got an armlet toggle if he can get out it off in time, but he can't carry Puppey doing work. And Tongfu running for their lives now after that buyback. Can they get out? Scythe of Ice cooling down for Dendi. A bit worried about a level death. Sangshung finds a haster. He heads one way. Heading the other is Banana. He does not look so lucky to me. Caught and brought down. Dendi blinking way past him. Or orbing way past him, rather, to ensure the kill. In the end, buybacks were forced out from Navi. Not a horrible fight for either team.
And they lost a Rax. Sorry, not a Rax. A tower. They lost a tower, I think, bottom in this time, just because of
this
the creeps
tier 2
pushing.
bottom, you mean?
Yeah, the creeps pushing.
Okay.
Which seems like a small deal, but I mean, it's still money going for Tongfu.
I think the biggest thing there is Havos would have had a butterfly, and he's still close to it, but his buyback's down, so he really needs this next Aegis, which is coming in about 3.5 minutes. If they can get the next Aegis on him, they'll stabilize a lot, but they are a bit volatile at this stage of the game, simply because of the buyback. It's
a bit complicated for them now, because I'm not sure. The last 2 times they got an Aegis, the first time was by that amazing Dendi steal. The second time, it was after a very good team fight by them. But if both teams are alive when Roshan pops up, it's complicated. I mean, I can't say Navi will win the team fight 100% of the time. They have the wall, they have the Finn's grip, they have some nice things going for them. But if they get the good initiation, Tongfu, I mean, you get the proper Life Stealer Bomb, you get the proper Doom on the right hero, battle could go anywhere, and who gets the next Aegis will be the one that probably will be forcing Raxis in the next 10 minutes.
Also, this is that stage of the game where the Storm Spear could start to become a bit stronger, because Havos is down to a 7-second BKB, and he's getting close to a Scythe of Ice. And especially if he doesn't get Fiend's Grip, has a lot of freedom to move around in these fights. Truth be told, Navi don't have the best single target lockdown. They do have the Scythe on Dendi, but there's a BKB on the Storm. So we'll see. I feel Mu could be that secret weapon for this team. This is the point in the game where Lifestealer sometimes feels like he's not the highest impact carry. Navi's such a mobile lineup, such a hard lineup for Lifestealer to stay attached at the hip to an enemy target. Mu, however, has a lot of freedom. If he's not focused, could be doing some heavy lifting here. And he'll need to. He's been farming the most on this team. Actually sitting at 269 last hits. They'll smoke up now on the high ground, and they're going to go right into the Roshan pit. Kuroki just placed the sentry. Tongfu not having full vision of this, a little reluctant to jump in. Navi, their biggest strength here is fighting at the Roche pit. They have vacuum wall. Very scary to fight in.
I just want to point out, Sansheng did something very, very nice, which is he stole ice armor. He ate a creep that gives ice armor, and now he's giving ice armor to everyone.
They're trying to bait here with a Havost illusion. He comes in with his main hero, though. On the backside is Sangsheng. He's doomed. Havost, not a good way to start the fight. Now the zip in, the pull back. He is still alive. That was a defensive sleep, but it wears off quickly. Without Havost, Navi lacking damage. He's going to fall. Puppey as well. Kind of coming apart here. A buyback from that Alc. But remember, there is no buyback available for the Luna. Dendi Ghost Sceptered up, trying to live, trying to fight his way out. On the backside, it's King J. He'll fall to Funnick. So far, a 2 for 2 and a buyback on the Alc. But they have used a lot of their early initiation. Now Moo caught. He'll go down. The buyback on Puppey making the difference. That 4-position Alc turning out to be the hero and the savior of this fight. And now setting up what could be Roche for Navi. Well, they're still chasing. They're going to do a bit of dewarding here. Having that extra buyback really made all the difference.
Yeah, because that was a team fight that Tongfu should have won. I mean, they kind of won the team fight, but the fact that they were so many buybacks and the possibility of Puppey to just come back to the fight and make an impact at the end made it so that Navi not only have control of that last team fight, but now they can do Roshan if they want. And Lifestealer being such low life means he has to regenerate. He has to wait until he's full health, until they can contest. The Moo buyback kind of a little bit wasted. The idea was nice, but I mean, by the time he bought back and got there, just everyone was running away.
Yeah, that's actually a really costly buyback, because he had like 2,600 gold. He had the Mystic Staff. After that death, it's going to be a while before he gets the next one. It does prevent Navi from getting Roche, and I feel at this point, preventing them from getting Roche is essential, because
yes.
Luna has enough items now with a Butterfly and a Manta that if you give the Aegis away to this Luna, she can probably just siege you with the Manta illusions and racks you, and you can't go on her because of the Aegis. So preventing Roche, absolutely essential. It is a costly buyback, but perhaps a necessary one.
The good thing for Tongfu is that in 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1, they'll have all their ultimates online. Suddenly, it pretty much becomes the same thing that was before. They're smoking again, and if they can get the same team fight, they will be able to get all the same things as well. Now, Navi also has their ultimates reset. It's a double smoke. They will try to get to the Roche pit. Of course, Navi has the advantage of having the proper vision, but Tongfu decides to go on for the turnaround. They check that no one's at Roshan, and now they're going to say, okay, we're going through the secret shop because we know it's warded there. And Navi is kind of doing mind games of their own. They say they will not go there, so we'll try to find them at their jungle. But no one's finding anyone, so...
It's one of those moments where the casual observer feels so much smarter than the players. Like, no, they're not there, you idiots! but of course, neither team knows. Tongfu hiding at the secret shop. Navi pressuring this bottom lane a bit. Thing is, Tongfu is going to have to come to defend bottom, and Navi is hoping that someone's going to show up here. Actually, it looks like they're positioned for a backstab, as they were all facing towards the north. Tongfu has used these smoke anks quite a bit, and if you use them enough, your opponents generally will wise up. Navi starting to adapt to their opponents mid-game in those small ways, and now they might head towards this bottom lane. Creeps have just gone through, walked through the lane, spotted by a dire observer. Or Tongfu have a gem, but Banana not scouting the high ground. Now he'll throw out a poison. I think the gem was out of range. Well, they've been spotted. Navi will not be caught by surprise, and neither will Tongfu, it looks like.
Now they know, so suddenly...
They can't leave this. The bottom lane's pushing in. They're going to take some damage on their tower, but you just have to take it. If you TP home, Navi take Roche, and that might just be game.
Absolutely. I mean, they have to put pressure on the mid lane, which is what they're doing right now. If you're going to try and take our bottom lane, we'll have to take that. Oh,
Here we go. Lucid Beam on Banana to start. Havost in the front lines. Manta's out. Infest Bomb comes. He got off his BKB. I don't think he got off the Eclipse, though. He didn't. The Doom goes on to him. Funnick can't get anything off. I think he got Abyssal there and bursted down. No wall, but Havost fighting his way out simply with the pure DPS of a Manta style as well as a Butterfly. Now it's all up to How. Havost is low. Havost will fall. Puppey trying to man mode up against this Lifestealer, but that is a Lifestealer. He's very scary. Self-disrupt, or offensive disrupt on Puppey, and now Banana gives chase. Slowed up. One more bash. This could be the end of Puppey. He will go down. Ultra kill for How. Finally, the Lifestealer not focused in a team fight. Havost on the chase. Remember, he's got Eclipse, but back comes Sangsheng. He's got a Shiva's Guard here. There's no BKB for Havost. He throws off the Eclipse. He gets disrupted. Now, Hal says, screw it. I'm going to fight my way out. Where's the bashes when he needs it? He gets one, but he will go down. The timely scythe from Dendi. Navi hang on. They kill off a few. Buybacks from literally everyone in this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buybacks in the past 6 minutes. And now Roshan, Who's going to get it, Bruno? That's the big question.
Well, they're all rushing to that golden Roshan that will give you the game, because not only there's an Aegis here, there's cheese, so you can risk trying to get it. Oh, that region rune is so lucky for Hervos. He will now be at full health, but no one feels safe enough to take it, because of course Hao is alive and Sansheng is alive. Sansheng will have the Doom any minute now, and Hao can infest pretty much at any moment. So
you do have to question, why is Havost leading these ganks though?
Because it's a boss. It's a 9-point carry.
You have a 4-position. You have a 4-position Alc with a Shadow Blade and an AC. He's important to his team, but if they focus him, that means Havost isn't getting focused. So I wouldn't mind seeing him lead the way. I wouldn't mind seeing Dendi lead the way. But well, they're leading with Havost, and fortunately he had buyback. A little bit too far out, I feel, in that case.
It was a little bit too far out, I agree. But I mean, you have to take some risks at some point, and I kind of understand Havo's eagerness to just get to the Roche pit. Maybe they, definitely they didn't know it was there.
He's going Lincoln's here, I think, Bruno. Ultimate Orb pickup. This is a big item. Honestly, Navi could use quite a few Lincoln Spheres.
Who's going that?
Havost, it looks like.
Havos?
He picked up an Ultimate Orb. It could be an Ive Skady, but that's kind of weird. Well, we'll go in now.
Oh, no.
Stun from Puppy is going to find Banana at the neutrals. Now Havost pops a BKB and goes to work on him. Moo on the backside. Oh no, Havost just got abyssaled. Hal trying to bring him down. He gets purged as well.
Wow,
the wall. This could be bad for Tongfu, but they're still fighting in the wall. It's actually going surprisingly well for them so far. Kuroki has cornered Sangshang. He will fall. Without Havost, can they still fight their way out? Remember, he bought back earlier. He doesn't have it now. A Doom for a Luna. Your final trade for that fight.
I don't know. I mean, it's so even.
Is it worth it?
It's so even. I don't know who won there.
This Luna, to quote a famous Chinese philosopher who works for Beyond the Summit, does some big swag YOLO deeps here, Bruno. quite a few deeps coming out from him.
She certainly does some deeps. And now there's wow. I mean, this pipe on Clockwork should have been there quite a long time ago. I can't believe this is a 52-minute game.
I can't already.
I feel it's a 30 minutes game so far. So much action going on. So many things. It really is going fast.
71 kills. We did see before the draft even ended. It's like you look at these picks. A lot of heroes are going to die this game. That was pretty much a given. But quite this many, not so sure. And now Hal's upgraded his inventory. He got an ultra kill 2 fights ago without this assault crest. Now he has one. Could be the difference maker here. He's going to walk into the Roche pit.
How cares about nothing? He's like, I don't care about being revealed.
Come at me, bro. Come at me.
Yeah, he counts. He has the assault curious. He has the
Pops out a stun. Moo's going to BKB dodge it. That means no Storm BKB. But if Tongfu get the Roche, it will be worth it. Remember,
there's cheese.
Remember, there's no Luna in this fight. So Navi could go for an Aegis steal, but I don't think they want to fight 5v5 here. Roche dropping low. Moo on the high ground. He's looking for those cheeky plays. The orb comes in from Dendi. It's a bit too soon. Now Funnick blinks forward. Dendi jumps in. He wants the Aegis. He gets it. He gets the Aegis. Oh, not again. Dendi has somehow done it. But if he goes down here, that could be costly. Puppy in the pit. No. They're all in the pit. The wall's there. Dendi's still alive. He falls once. That was his entire life. All of that just to kill him one time. Moo has tried to evacuate the lifestealer. Bring me home, he says. Havost is back in the action. He's popped a BKB, a grip on Sangshang. He's going to hit the deck. Puppy marching forward. He sees blood in the water, or he smells it and he wants more. Banana should fall. Dendi will finish off the kill. Actually, yes, it goes to him. Sangshang on the run. Tries to escape. Lucent beam to the face, and I think this Doom, even with his Shivas, even with his ice armor, 27 armor, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's done. Here comes Moo. We're not done just yet. Hang on to your hat. Still going to work. This lifestealer is fat. He's furious. Great defensive sleep. Bind some time. It's enough. Kuroki does it. Moo to fall. Team wipe for Navi.
Oh.
Go! Jesus, these fights, man. This is only game 1, by the way. In case you're just tuning in, guys.
It's a pretty nice way to start a series.
Say, what are these fights? 77 kills, 54 minutes in, and Navi, they might have just won the game off of that. A lot of buybacks.
I'm pretty sure they won.
A lot of buybacks not available. The only heroes that have it are on their side. They're fighting their way through backdoor protection. Creep wave is coming soon. They'll have like 40 seconds to just throw it and win the game.
There's no glyph for Tongfu either, so suddenly these towers will start melting very fast. There's King J can jump and make a noble sacrifice, but I don't think that will stop them for more than 2 or 3 seconds. And there's 50 seconds until the lifestealer comes, 40 seconds until the Storm Spirit comes.
This means 2 racks. Thrown it here. I guess they don't realize that the buybacks are on cooldown, but they'll go for 2 or maybe even 3 lanes of racks. That's probably GG anyway, but if Navi knew, they could definitely kill the throw during this time. They'll play it safe. They'll take 2 lanes of rack. Still 25 seconds to go. It could even be 3. Let's see if they're going to back off here. What a spectacular performance from them thus far. 2 Aegis steals by Dendi. I mentioned he's been absolutely essential to them, more so than pretty much any other 2 position for players in this tournament, and boy, has he delivered. My goodness. They were hating on him, too. That Shadowblade Doom gank earlier, his blink was delayed, and still, he hasn't gone on tilt. He's found a way to make huge plays for his team.
It's what he's done. He's the MVP by far of the game. I don't know. I mean, when you get... It's like the stars align for this guy to do all this stuff. But then again, it's Dendi, so it surprises no one.
He aligns the stars, Bruno.
He aligns the stars
That's
himself.
what Dendi means in Russian. I don't know if you knew that.
Let's say it does. Okay.
Star aligner.
Starliner. Perfect.
That would actually be a pretty cool name.
Starliner sounds like an...
Star aligner.
No.
I guess
Yeah.
Starliner sounds nicer.
Yeah. But
Sounds like a boat that takes you to a happy place. But here come Navi down the top lane.
Sounds
Do
like
they,
an
do, they,
airline.
do they just go for the gusto here and try and force it? Or
Well,
do you just wait and play it safe?
well, I mean... this is Tongfu's move right now. They have to do something. They can't wait. They probably have to push this lane away a little bit. This is not the lane you want to try and get. You have to get one of the 2 lanes that you lost back by getting a fight where you can take the Raxis. If you take the top Raxis, you still have 2 big Raxis pushing against you, which is really bad. But, I mean, Navi can sit down and wait. They can farm their jungle, they can farm the enemy's jungle, they can farm the Asians. There's still about long time to the next Aegis, about 6 minutes. So, the ball is on Tongfu's side of the map.
Oh, now things get a lot harder. Now there's a Lincoln Sphere on Havost. And if he pops a BKB, then there's nothing they could target it with to remove this Lincoln Sphere, except Doom, which will be blocked by the Lincoln. So in theory, Havost is basically invulnerable. Oh, the Abyssal Blade, that's true. Didn't think about that. But they'll have to use both of them just to lock Havost down in these fights, which isn't ideal, to say the least.
It's going to be tough, unless you can pop the Lincoln before before he goes on BKB, then you're pretty much screwed right now. Dendi also 3.6k gold. He can decide to go for... He could be cheeky and go for what's the name of the thing? The thing that you go with the evil song and goes up to
Ethereal Blade.
Ethereal Blade, yes, thank you.
It's a great item against Lifestealer.
Yes.
There's no Diffusal Blades on Tongfu. There's no way to purge the Ghost form. And
I mean, yeah, he can rage out of it, but...
Well, yeah, no, but you can just Ethereal Blade your teammates.
Yeah.
One of the new buffs to this item, actually.
Right.
And then they waste a lot of precious seconds of that rage, not able to focus anybody down. And that's the point that Navi are at this game. With Lincoln Sphere on Havost, BKB on 2, as well as Kuroki's picked one up, as well as just mass Force Stabs and Ghost Scepters. They just have to live through that burst damage, and I think they're at that point where now Havost almost has a Satanic. If he gets that, watch out. I don't think they can burst him at that point. They'll go on him now. They've broken the Lincoln Sphere. They've gotten the Doom off, and Havost never got off his BKB, so they didn't even have to use anything for it. Kuroki gets off a full duration feed script. The Cox no longer doing anything to stop that. It does a lot of work, but nobody dead yet on the side of Tongfu. Tongsheng on the run, and I think it might be enough. There was a buyback from Havost. He tries to fight his way out. How is going so hard on Puppy right here. Defensive sleep, not sufficient. Tongfu, the lane's pushing in. Their base is burning, but they're still fighting on. Coming back into the fight will be Puppy. Self-stuns under cover of Shadowblade, and the chase is on. Dendi wants to jump into this. He blinks. He silences. They did force out a Havost buyback. If he dies again, and Tongfu have most of their heroes up, maybe they can go for the throne, but Navi might still be able to just push into the base here.
That's not enough. Like, Godzz is now with the team again. He's full life, he's ahead. He popped the Manta, he has the BKB ready. If the Lincoln is on cooldown, which right now it is, they don't have a Doom to kill him. I don't know.
There we go. Jump in from Funnick. Back is there. The orb splashes through. BKB is coming out for Havost this time. Eclipse popped as well. Tongfu dropping low to those bouncing glaives. They're slashing and all over the place. Hao trying to fight his way out against Puppy. Can he do it? He brings down Puppy. He's got an armlet toggle. His armlet is off, and he will fall. Ultra kill for Havost. Too many glaives, too fast, too furious. Sangsheng can just barely remove this Lincoln Sphere. Storm on the sidelines. Lifestealer buyback comes back into the fray. Biz chopping away at Havost now. Havost no Manta. Havost on the run. And the chase goes on Funnick,
Wow,
but a
the
two-hero coil, buying time and space. And Havost says, I'm going in, baby. I'm going in. Somebody come with me, please. Dendy will snipe one on the backside. Havost Mantas, but he got bashed. If he gets bashed again, he could fall. No MKB on House, so it's not the easiest kill. But still he chases the surge from Funnick, keeping him alive. They are giving everything they have in this game, but Hal gets done. Puppy with the big backstab, and at long last, I think Navi may have just done it. 4 heroes dead for Tongfu. Buybacks available on no one. G freaking G. 60-minute win for Navi.
Wow. 86 kills in 60 minutes. This is just one of those games that you will remember for months, maybe years.
I think Navi might still have it, Bruno.
Yeah, I think Navi has proved that they're a pretty good team. And even against Chinese teams, one of the best Chinese teams even. They have a few tricks under their sleeves. And they won here pretty convincingly, not because they were super ahead, but because in those close games they knew how to do the things right. They knew how to take advantages where there were disadvantages, and they have Dendy.
Seriously, they have Dendy. He stole 2 Aegises. Without that, I think Tongfu just take this game.
Yeah.
That really was the difference.
That was clutch. I don't think without that, I mean, because the first Aegis, they were losing the game.
Yeah.
At the moment that Dendy takes the first Aegis, Navi was at a clear disadvantage.
They had the better 5-man lineup, and they couldn't fight.
No.
That's how far behind they were.
Sansheng, let's go again to that guy. I mean, he deserves a special mention. He finished level 22. I mean, some heroes were level 25, of course, but he got a lot. 393 gold per minute in a Doom, which is not super high, but they were losing, which is always something that takes your gold per minute a little bit below. And he was not expected to get nearly as much farm.
But Doom is a hero that kind of falls off in the late game.
Yeah.
Low base armor, no real steroid skill to speak of unless you hit an Alpha Wolf, which is at best. Melee hero just doesn't offer you as much as some other hard carries. And went for mid-game items as well. But ultimately, I mean, this is all just chit-chat. The big thing was Denny stealing 2 Aegises, Navi finding a way to take game 1. Well, Bruno, we better save our voices because we do have a game 2 and 3 coming up. Lumi, Merlini, how are you guys holding up?
Well, yeah, those Aegis steals were definitely the highlight of the game, but some other smaller things. I think the early game went very well for Navi. They actually shut down the Clockwork very hard with just a support alchemist. That's huge. If you can win your lane that handily in a 2 versus 1, that's just amazing.
I actually thought that was the biggest kind of factor that wasn't really talked too much about. He was 115-14, the Clockwork score, 115-14. And you know, I don't want to. I generally hate pointing out a single player and in terms of blaming the entire game on him. But Clockwork not being able to get an Aegis, or not Aegis, Aegis is on my mind. Not being able to get a mech mid game forced the Doom to get the mech, and he was having the 1-row Doom farm, right? He should have been getting Radiance AC Shiva. He should have been in the front line. But because the mech never came for Tongfu, Doom was forced to get it, and you lost the carry, basically.
I think Navi executed a lot of fights well. One particular one, when both of them smoked all the way around, Tongfu was trying to pick a fight at nighttime versus a Luna.
Yeah.
Havos was very far behind at that point. He had a BKB, but with the night vision, he can always pop the BKB before they see them, and then he'll get off his Eclipse, and the fight they just got completely owned there, and the momentum of the game completely shifted, and that was around the time of the Aegis, and that's when Navi started getting out of control. Navi did an excellent job of recovering, though. Contrary to the Clockwork, who pretty much just fed for the entirety of the game.
I mean, he's a clock.
He's a clock.
I don't want to be hard to King J. He hooks in and he's died. That's his job.
Havost had ridiculous amounts of items, even considering that he died a lot early game. So did Denny. Denny died a couple of times.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you right now. Of course he does have items. He's a 9 carry.
Anyways, so Dendy had insane amounts of items too. He had a Ghost Scepter, he had a Sheep, he had a Blink, he had those Aegis steals. Those were so important to them winning the fights. Also some nice defensive sleeps by Kuroki. Nice transition from Puppy's Alchemist into a later Bash Lord. And the item progression on Tongfu was just a little bit weak. Again, Doom doesn't scale very well. I also didn't like his Doom targets too much. One time he doomed Luna before she got her BKB off. That was huge. But once she gets her BKB off, she's just going to crush people. I think dooming someone like Puck would have just been huge for them. The longer he sticks around, the more annoying he is. He can actually kill Lifestealer later with a silence. I thought that was very instrumental in them losing the fight, just not dooming the correct target. You can do a Bane, but he's pretty useless. You can just silence him with whatever silence you have. You have an Orchid on a Storm, you have Sheep, you have Abyssal, you can just right click. And if they had like MKB on the Lifestealer, I think it would have been a lot easier, but he just got kited so hard just because the items on Navi were just so much better. They clearly outplayed Tongfu in the fights though.
I'm glad you used the word outplay because that's the same
they
word in my
definitely
mind.
outplayed,
This
yeah.
is actually one of the hardest outplay I have ever seen in this high-level game. Tongfu, they play well. They have some misplays, but that's to be expected. You know, they're still humans despite being professional players. But Kuroki, I know Bruno called him out as not really a true support at heart, but he had one of the best support games I've ever seen from a professional Bane. This was a BKB Bane, channeling full grips, has some of the best Nightmare to detoggle. He would Nightmare target, hit the target to get the Nightmare back and debuff and detoggle. It was
Right,
like
it was
mind-blowing.
pretty disgusting.
And of course, we have to end on a high note. Dendi stealing multiple Aegis. It blew my mind completely.
was
S4, I
ridiculous.
called him the best West solo mid. I'm taking that back. Dendi is the best
now we've
solo
got
mid
two.
of West.
Well played by Navi there.
Yeah.
I also think Tongfu had a little bit lacking in the AoE. They had a lot of single target with Storm and Nyx and Doom, but again, they won the early part of the game, but simply just got outplayed in the last 35 minutes of the game.
Yep.
That was a great play by Navi. Excited to see Game 2. You said that we might have a more exciting series. Definitely not the case.
Well, who knows how Game 2 and Game 3 go. We'll see if it's going to be as exciting, and you guys don't go anywhere because it's going to be back very soon. The players are joining in the lobby, and yeah, get your coffee, get your popcorn because it's going to be a exciting best of 3, hopefully.